In the aftermath of a devastating earthquake that shattered a small village and destroyed its school, one man stepped forward with a promise that would change everything. Cristiano Ronaldo, a football legend known for his incredible talent, also showed the world his heart as he vowed to help rebuild not just a school, but a community's hope for the future. What happens next is a powerful story of resilience, compassion, and the lasting impact of one person's commitment to making a difference. The opening scene introduces the audience to the heart-wrenching aftermath of a catastrophic earthquake that has left a community in devastation. The camera pans across a landscape marked by destruction, with collapsed buildings, cracked roads, and scattered debris. Amid this chaos, the focus shifts to a school that once stood as a symbol of hope and education for the local children. The school building, which was once full of life and laughter, now lies in ruins, its walls cracked, windows shattered, and the structure reduced to a pile of rubble. The narration explains the profound impact of the earthquake, emphasizing the suddenness and unpredictability of such a disaster. In the wake of a catastrophic earthquake, many lives were shattered, and entire communities were left to rebuild. This sets the tone for the story, highlighting the scale of the destruction and the emotional toll on those affected. Schools, being places of learning and community, are particularly significant in the aftermath of such an event. The destruction of this school represents more than just the loss of a building. It symbolizes the disruption of the children's education, the loss of a safe space for them to grow and learn, and the deep sense of helplessness felt by the families and educators involved. The emotional weight of this scene is reinforced by showing the faces of children and families standing amidst the wreckage. They are stunned, confused, and uncertain about their future. The loss of the school represents the broader impact on their lives. Children are left without a place to learn, teachers without classrooms, and parents without hope for their children's future education. This emotional opening sets the stage for the uplifting journey of rebuilding that follows, positioning the school as a central element in the story and a focal point for the community's resilience and recovery. The traumatic effects of the earthquake on the community, showing how it struck without warning and left widespread destruction in its wake. The scene is marked by the intensity of the disaster, with the ground shaking violently and buildings crumbling. Through flashback sequences, viewers are transported to the exact moment when the earthquake hits, creating a sense of urgency and chaos. The school, once a bustling hub of activity, becomes a symbol of the broader devastation. Cracks rapidly form along the walls, and in moments, the structure collapses, burying classrooms and hallways under the debris. This visual representation of the destruction emphasizes how quickly the disaster unfolds and the helplessness felt by those caught in the middle of it. The narration further underscores the scale of the impact, noting that the earthquake affected not just the school but entire neighborhoods and infrastructure. The earthquake struck without warning, tearing apart homes, businesses, and schools, leaving families and children devastated and displaced. This line helps the audience understand that the disaster wasn't isolated to the school alone. It was part of a larger catastrophe that disrupted lives, livelihoods, and daily routines. Families were forced to evacuate their homes, and many were left without shelter or basic necessities. The emotional strain of losing one's home, livelihood, and the place where children once gathered to learn is felt throughout the community. By focusing on the school's destruction, the narrative emphasizes the vulnerability of educational institutions in times of crisis. The school wasn't just a physical structure, it was a place of safety and learning for the children, offering hope for a better future. With its collapse, the community faces an additional hardship: the loss of the space that was integral to the children's development. The children are not only left homeless, but also deprived of their right to education, compounding their distress. The devastation of the school represents a broader loss for the community, a loss of stability, routine, and hope for the future. The earthquake has left the community in disarray, but it also sets the stage for the story of recovery and resilience that will follow. Following the earthquake's devastation, the community is left grappling with the overwhelming task of rebuilding their lives from the ground up. The third point of the story focuses on the immediate aftermath, where the emotional and physical toll on the villagers is evident. The destruction is not just structural, it is deeply personal. Homes, businesses, and the local school, each representing a cornerstone of daily life, have been reduced to rubble. The people of the village, already struggling with the shock of the disaster, are faced with the daunting reality of starting over. The scene portrays the community's efforts to salvage whatever they can from the debris. People can be seen picking through the remains of their homes, searching for belongings that might be usable or sentimental items that carry memories of happier times. The school's destruction is particularly impactful. For children and teachers, this isn't just the loss of a physical space, it's the loss of an institution that represents the future. The lack of a school means the interruption of education, a gap in the children's learning, and a loss of routine in their lives. Parents, too, are affected by the uncertainty of their children's futures, unsure when or if they'll be able to resume their education. Despite the heavy loss, the community's resilience begins to shine through in this point of the narrative. While many are devastated, the people have no choice but to push forward. There is an unspoken understanding that recovery, no matter how difficult, must begin. People start working together, assisting one another with clearing debris and rebuilding homes. The emotional weight of the moment is portrayed through their determination to start anew. Yet, despite these efforts, the task ahead still feels insurmountable. The community has a long road to recovery ahead, and the uncertainty of how to rebuild not just homes, but their lives looms large. The loss of the school creates a specific kind of hardship. Education is seen as a crucial lifeline for children, offering hope for the future and a sense of normalcy in the face of disaster. The fact that the school remains in ruins, untouched by early recovery efforts, further deepens the sense of hopelessness. It becomes clear that without external help, the community may struggle to restore this vital institution. The villagers' determination to rebuild their homes is mirrored in their desire to see their children return to school, something that seems impossible under the circumstances. This struggle sets the stage for a turning point in the story, where the community's hardship will inspire an act of kindness from an unexpected source. In the wake of the devastation, the story takes a turn as Cristiano Ronaldo, the famous football star, becomes aware of the community's plight. The fourth point of the narrative introduces Ronaldo's role in the story, emphasizing his compassionate response to the tragedy. As a global icon known for his charitable contributions, Ronaldo is not just a figure in sports, but also someone who has frequently used his platform to help those in need. The moment he sees the news report about the earthquake's impact, it triggers something in him, a deep sense of empathy for the affected families, particularly the children who lost their school. His awareness of the situation is not just through the lens of the tragedy itself, but through an understanding of the importance of education and its potential to restore hope to a community in crisis. The scene shows Ronaldo watching a televised report of the disaster, his face somber as he takes in the images of destruction. It's clear that the scale of the disaster has left an emotional impact on him. In the narration, it's highlighted that despite his global fame and the numerous causes he could be involved with, this particular event struck a personal chord. Amidst the overwhelming loss, football star Cristiano Ronaldo saw the devastation and knew he had to act. This line sets the tone for Ronaldo's involvement. It's not merely a publicity move or a fleeting gesture. His decision to step in is driven by a genuine desire to help. The devastation of the school is particularly moving to him, as he knows that education is key to the future of these children. Ronaldo, understanding the weight of the situation, doesn't just express sympathy from afar. He pledges to actively contribute to the rebuilding efforts. His involvement is framed not as a temporary donation but as a long-term commitment to restoring the school. This step shows a deeper level of involvement and commitment than simply sending financial aid. Ronaldo's willingness to get personally involved sends a powerful message, not only to the community, but to his fans and the world at large, that his role as a public figure extends beyond the football field. In the narrative, Ronaldo's decision to help becomes a pivotal moment, marking a shift from despair to hope for the village. By choosing to focus on the school, Ronaldo recognizes that it is the cornerstone of rebuilding the community's future. The children, who lost not just their homes but their access to education, represent the key to the village's resurgence. His pledge to rebuild the school becomes symbolic of the village's broader recovery, proving that even in the darkest times, there are people who are willing to make a difference. The scene highlights his genuine commitment to the cause and sets the stage for the transformation of the community, as it sparks the beginning of the recovery process. Cristiano Ronaldo's involvement in the school's rebuilding begins with a personal visit to the devastated village. This moment marks the shift from a simple pledge of help to tangible action. The fifth point in the narrative details Ronaldo's decision to go beyond merely sending aid or making public statements. Instead, he takes the time to visit the village in person, walking through the wreckage and witnessing firsthand the devastation caused by the earthquake. This visit is a crucial moment in the story, as it allows Ronaldo to fully grasp the scale of the destruction and connect with the people affected. As Ronaldo arrives in the village, the camera focuses on the contrast between the previously vibrant community and the ruinous state of the area now. The school, still reduced to rubble, stands as the focal point of this devastation. The local residents, many of whom are still in shock, come out to greet him. The scene is poignant, as the villagers' eyes reflect both hope and gratitude. For them, Ronaldo's visit is not just the arrival of a famous athlete, it's the arrival of a symbol of hope. They see in him not just a football player, but someone who understands their struggle and is willing to help them rebuild. Ronaldo's interactions with the community are the heart of this scene. He speaks with local officials, listens to the concerns of parents, and meets with the children whose education has been disrupted. These one-on-one moments allow him to see the human impact of the earthquake, reinforcing his resolve to help. The scene shows Ronaldo listening intently as the village's teachers explain the difficulties they face in teaching without a school, while parents express their concerns about their children's future. Ronaldo's genuine empathy comes through in these exchanges. He doesn't just offer platitudes. He asks questions, seeks to understand, and offers reassurance that he is fully committed to the rebuilding effort. This human connection is vital. It shows that his response isn't just about charity. It's about making a meaningful difference in the lives of those affected. The significance of this visit is underscored by the way Ronaldo handles it. He does not rush through the visit, but instead takes the time to walk the streets, engage with the villagers, and truly absorb the gravity of the situation. His personal involvement sends a clear message to the community. They are not alone in this struggle, and their plight has been heard. His presence brings a sense of dignity to the process of rebuilding. For the children, in particular, seeing Ronaldo walk through the site of their destroyed school gives them a renewed sense of hope, proof that someone with the power and resources to help has taken notice. This visit marks the beginning of the tangible support the community will receive, transitioning the village from a state of despair to one of optimism, knowing that the rebuilding efforts will soon begin in earnest. Ronaldo's commitment during this visit is clear. He reassures the community that the restoration of their school will be a priority. It is a pivotal moment in the narrative, as the promise of rebuilding is no longer abstract or distant. It is now a promise made face-to-face, solidifying Ronaldo's role as a key figure in the community's recovery. This step from compassion to action is what sets the stage for the rebuilding process, offering both a practical solution and emotional support to the villagers in their time of greatest need. The narrative shifts focus to the transformative work that follows Ronaldo's pledge to help rebuild the school. It marks the beginning of the tangible efforts to restore not just the physical structure of the school, but also the hope and sense of normalcy for the community. After Ronaldo's initial visit, the groundwork for the rebuilding process is set in motion. This point emphasizes the scale and logistics of the project, showcasing the involvement of local construction teams, architects, and volunteers, as well as the significant financial resources that Ronaldo has dedicated to the cause. The scene shows workers arriving at the site, clearing away the remaining rubble from the earthquake. As the camera pans across the site, we see cranes, bulldozers, and teams of construction workers working side by side. The intensity of the labor contrasts with the initial destruction, symbolizing the community's shift from hopelessness to recovery. Ronaldo's role here is not just as a donor, but as an active participant in the rebuilding process. While the day-to-day tasks are handled by professionals, Ronaldo's leadership and resources provide the catalyst for everything to move forward. His commitment is seen in the fact that he makes sure the work starts immediately, ensuring there are no delays in getting the school back on its feet. What makes this part of the narrative especially powerful is the sense of collective effort. The rebuilding of the school is not just the work of hired contractors, but a joint endeavor involving volunteers from the local community. Many of the villagers, who have already been struggling to rebuild their homes, are now helping to reconstruct the school. Local teachers, parents, and children also pitch in where they can, showing their solidarity and commitment to restoring the school that was so central to their lives. This aspect of community involvement highlights the shared ownership of the project and the sense of empowerment it brings. It's not just about one individual's generosity. It's about a collective will to rebuild and a belief that the school, as a symbol of education and hope, must be restored for the good of future generations. Additionally, Ronaldo's involvement extends beyond just providing funds and moral support. In some scenes, he can be seen working alongside the construction teams, inspecting the work and offering encouragement to those involved. This visible presence strengthens the bond between him and the community, further cementing the idea that the rebuilding process is a personal mission for him, not just a charitable act. His efforts help elevate the morale of the workers and the local residents, as they see firsthand that someone cares deeply about the outcome of this project. It also signals to the world that the resources provided are being put to good use, instilling confidence in both the local people and external donors who might also contribute to the effort. The planning and architectural design of the new school are also carefully considered. The rebuilding process isn't just about making the school functional again. It's about creating a space that can better withstand future disasters. Modern materials and construction techniques are used to ensure the new building is more resilient to earthquakes, while at the same time making sure the design is more inclusive, spacious, and inspiring for the children. The inclusion of new technology, updated facilities, and recreational spaces speaks to the broader vision of rebuilding not just the physical infrastructure, but also the quality of education for the future students. Through this process, the narrative underscores that the rebuilding of the school is a significant and multifaceted endeavor, one that involves not just restoring a building but also laying the foundation for a stronger, more resilient community. Ronaldo's contribution is instrumental in making this transformation possible, but it's the collective efforts of the community that truly bring the school back to life. The progress made during this stage shows how, even in the face of disaster, the seeds of hope and recovery can be planted through hard work, dedication, and solidarity. The narrative focuses on the culmination of months of hard work, determination, and collective effort, the grand reopening of the rebuilt school. After the devastation caused by the earthquake, the community, with Ronaldo's help, has transformed the site from a place of ruin into a symbol of renewal and hope. This moment is a celebration of what has been achieved and an affirmation that, even after such a catastrophe, recovery is possible with the support of individuals and communities coming together. The reopening ceremony marks the first step in the community's long-term healing and restoration, both emotionally and socially. The scene of the reopening is filled with optimism and joy. The camera pans over the newly constructed school building, which stands proudly in stark contrast to the destruction that once occupied the space. The exterior gleams with fresh paint, the windows are intact, and the once ruined playground now buzzes with life. Children, wearing bright smiles, gather outside the school, eagerly awaiting the event. Their faces reflect a sense of excitement and anticipation, as they are about to return to the institution that represents not just education, but also the resilience of their community. Their laughter and energy infuse the atmosphere with a sense of renewed purpose, signaling the end of a difficult chapter and the beginning of a brighter future. The reopening ceremony itself is marked by a ribbon-cutting event, with Ronaldo standing alongside local officials, teachers, and community leaders. The presence of these figures highlights the collaborative nature of the project, showing that the success of the rebuilding was a result of both external support and the unwavering dedication of local people. In the foreground, children, dressed in their school uniforms, eagerly watch the moment unfold. Their enthusiasm underscores the significance of the event, not just as a celebration of the school's physical reconstruction, but as a reaffirmation of their right to education, which was momentarily lost during the devastation. During the ceremony, Ronaldo delivers a heartfelt speech to the gathered crowd. In his words, he expresses both gratitude and encouragement, acknowledging the incredible effort that went into rebuilding the school and emphasizing the importance of education in shaping a better future. His message resonates deeply with the parents and teachers, who now see hope for their children's future. Ronaldo's presence is not just a symbolic gesture, it serves to elevate the occasion and inspire the community to continue working toward progress. He shares a message of unity, resilience, and the importance of coming together in the face of adversity. "You have shown the world what is possible when we work together," he says, "and this school will be a place where dreams are built, where the future begins." The children, having been deprived of their education for months, now see this reopening as a turning point. As they step inside the newly renovated classrooms, it's clear that the school is no longer just a place to learn. It's a beacon of hope, a testament to the strength of the community, and a reminder of the importance of education in times of crisis. Teachers, who once faced uncertainty and despair, now have the tools and the environment to offer their students the education they deserve. The community, which once felt fragmented and lost, now comes together in celebration of what they have rebuilt. The sense of pride and accomplishment that fills the air is palpable. This grand reopening also serves as a powerful moment of closure for those who were most affected by the earthquake. For the children and families, returning to school symbolizes not just recovery but resilience, their ability to rebuild not only their homes and livelihoods, but also the foundational aspects of their lives that were most disrupted. The reopening of the school marks a new chapter in the community's story, one filled with hope, potential, and a renewed commitment to the future. In sum, the grand reopening represents the triumph of the human spirit over adversity. It is the culmination of collective efforts, where the actions of an individual like Ronaldo, combined with the determination of the local community, result in the restoration of something far more valuable than just a building: the restoration of hope, opportunity, and the promise of a better tomorrow for the next generation. The narrative shifts focus to the long-term impact of Ronaldo's contribution and the enduring legacy of the rebuilt school. This point reflects on how the act of rebuilding the school transcends the physical structure and leaves a lasting impression on the community, the children, and even the wider world. The completion of the project and the reopening ceremony are not the end of the story. They mark the beginning of a new chapter, one where the community and its children can continue to thrive, with the promise of a better future ahead. The first aspect of this lasting impact is the transformation of the children's lives. The new school provides them with more than just a place to learn. It offers them a sense of normalcy and stability that was lost during the disaster. The children now have access to modern facilities, a safer environment, and better educational resources than they ever had before. This new school serves as a symbol of opportunity, representing the resilience of the community in the face of adversity. As they sit in their classrooms, their futures seem brighter and their dreams more attainable. For many of these children, education is their key to escaping the cycle of poverty and building a better life. Ronaldo's intervention has directly impacted their educational journey, ensuring that they can continue to learn and grow, despite the challenges they've faced. In addition to the children, the community at large also benefits from the legacy of the rebuilt school. The school becomes more than just a place for education. It becomes a center of social cohesion and pride. It symbolizes the collective strength of the people who came together to rebuild after the earthquake, not just as individuals, but as a unified community. The school's resilience mirrors that of the villagers who, with Ronaldo's support, transformed their sense of loss into something positive. As the years pass, the school continues to serve as a reminder of what can be achieved when people come together to help one another. It is no longer just about the physical structure. It is about the spirit of unity and perseverance that defines the community. Ronaldo's legacy extends beyond the boundaries of the village. His decision to get involved in such a personal way to invest both time and resources sends a powerful message to the wider world. It serves as an example of how public figures can use their platforms and resources for social good, not just for personal gain or fame. His actions demonstrate that the wealth and fame that come with being a global icon come with an inherent responsibility to help those in need. This story of compassion and philanthropy spreads across media channels, inspiring others, both celebrities and ordinary individuals, to contribute in their own ways to causes that matter. Ronaldo's gesture serves as a reminder that no matter how large or small the contribution, it can have a profound effect on the lives of others. Moreover, the rebuilt school fosters a culture of giving and community support within the village. Inspired by Ronaldo's actions, local businesses and individuals start contributing to the continued growth and improvement of the school. This creates a sustainable model for the future, where the community remains actively involved in ensuring that the children's education is always a priority. It strengthens the bonds within the village and establishes a sense of shared responsibility for future generations. The school becomes a focal point for ongoing development, both in terms of infrastructure and social progress. The emotional legacy of this project is also significant. The people of the village never forget the time when a world-famous footballer stepped in to help them rebuild. Ronaldo becomes a hero in their eyes, not just because of his fame, but because he showed genuine care and took meaningful action. His involvement in the rebuilding of the school creates a narrative that will be passed down through generations, a story of hope and transformation that young students will one day share with their own children. It becomes a part of the village's history, a reminder that, even in the darkest times, help can come from unexpected places, and that with resilience and support, anything can be rebuilt. In conclusion, the lasting impact and legacy of the rebuilt school go far beyond its physical construction. It represents the long-term transformation of a community that emerged from tragedy stronger and more united than ever. The children now have access to education, the community feels empowered and connected, and Ronaldo's example continues to inspire people around the world to contribute to meaningful causes. The school stands as a beacon of hope, demonstrating that the effects of a single act of kindness can ripple out to create lasting change.